Okay, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Profit and Loss, where we go through one winning trade and one losing trade each week just to show you how I manage both. If you don't know who I am, my name is Michael Noss. I'm a chartered market technician and quantitative trader. If you're interested in any of the platforms you see me use here today, or if you are interested in more content like this, come on over to my website, statsedgetrading.com, which will be in the description below and probably showing up in a card up here. Without further ado, let's just pop right into it. So I'm going to go over two equity trades today. Again, intraday equity trades, so one winner and one loser. As always, I'm going to start here with SIGA. This one's been a huge monkeypox play. It's been in and out of the news all the time. This one came from my Trade Ideas relative strength scanner, which looks for intraday relative strength and displays it in this nice bar race format. Something you should, again, check out, link in the description below. But this was showing up as the strongest stock today on the open. So that's the main reason I wanted to show that. So always start with the daily chart. I always want to know kind of where the headwinds or the tailwinds of the market is before I zoom into the intraday chart and actually want to execute. This one was very interesting because it had a big gap down. Again, in the news with monkeypox, so in and out all the time. This one, massive gap down. So something that was reported was pretty negative, closed near the lows, but the next day gapped completely over that. So anybody who sold their long position here is basically out whatever profits they had, so they may want to get back in. And anyone who shorted thinking that we were finally breaking down from this massive run this thing had, they're trapped short and they need to cover. It's kind of what I was thinking on the daily chart. So zooming into the intraday chart, so this one showed up early on this relative strength scanner that we have at Trade Ideas. We call stock racing. It basically shows me what is making the best move from the open and ranks all of the stocks so I can see the one that is performing the best. So this showed up real early, made a run at this $15 a share, where it came off and put in a little bit of a higher low, showing that buyers were interested in a higher price. So I just set out my order and said, listen, if we get over $15 a share, that's where I want to get in, and I'm going to stop at worst case low of the day, basically more or less below this higher low right here. So you can see this one made me wait a while until the end of the day, but we broke that 15. We gave a little bit of a pop. If I was really paying attention and trying to hyper scalp this thing, I may have looked to take some, around the half number, got up to about 1550, pulled back, held my stop, and slowly grinded higher all day. So kind of checked this one out at the end of the day, sold half around $16, and then as always, as soon as I get in a profit like this, I start trailing my stop up. So I trailed my stop up below this kind of support you can see right here, this congestion on the 5-minute chart, came down, stopped me out on the rest of that position. Now into the losing trade here with Net. So Cloudflare, this was kind of a second day play, gapped up the prior day and then showed up on these races again this morning. So again, showing relative strength on this particular day. These are not always of the same day. I just kind of take screenshots as they're relevant, just FYI. Idea was that it had this massive gap up and then it was holding right up near that high. So if it pushed through, it could be a continuation of whatever fundamental change made this gap. And you can see, as if you go back to the last episode, it's one of my favorite setups. You just mark the pre-market high and say, hey, if it gets over the pre-market high, I want to get in. It popped right up. Looked like it was going to be a very good trade and actually trended a little bit more today. So I could have gotten a profit out of this. But again, I want to show you guys what real trading is like and show you some frustrations. You can see that it put the stop right at the low of the day, which is where I default put the stop, and then I drag it up if and when things look like they may continue. But it came down nearly to the penny, broke the low of the day, stopped me out, and then rallied. Again, just want to show that whatever you're feeling in trading, it's happened to everyone and it will continue to happen to you throughout your career. In this case, looking back, a re-entry as it came back through that 75 level may not have been the worst idea. However, I notice that when I'm frustrated on a stock and something like that happens to me, usually best just to walk away and say, okay, you got me this time. That's fine. On to the next 1,000 trades. So as always, you can see the goal is that if you have one winning trade and you have one losing trade, that the net of those two things is always positive. So there's the SIGA total profit, where $500 on that trade, and then I lost $100 on that net. A smaller position just because I was entering based off of applying a certain amount of capital to every single trade. And that was just a more expensive, less volatile stock. So the stop was a little bit lower. And that's all I can hope for, right? Is that, even though it was an annoying trade and it stopped me out, I had this great trade that offset it. And the hope is that even if I can maintain a 50-50 win rate, at the end of the day, you end up making a profit. And your hope is that, you can do a little better. Maybe you get up to 60%. Maybe you get even a little bit more out of your winners than your losers. But again, the point of this series is to show you a winner and a loser. And the losers are, generally speaking, going to look the same. You take the trade. You hope it was a good trade. A good meaning something that you would take again. And if it works out, great. And if it stops you out, you move on to the next one. So if you like this series, please share it around. Come on over to Stats Edge Trading. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you guys soon.